All right, good morning. Welcome to Sunday, April 10th. It's good to see you again this morning. Today's reading will be 2 Samuel chapters 21 through 24, and this will complete the book. Now remember, when we get into 1st and 2nd Kings, it's a continuation. These 4 books successive, and then when we get to 1st and 2nd Chronicles, it kind of retells the 4. But let's go ahead and hit this run, shall we? So here David's going through a famine and ends up going back to the Lord and saying, hey, what's this all about? Turns out that the famine was because of what Saul had done to the Gibeonites. However, just as a little background, the Gibeonites were the ones that tricked Joshua in, they brought old bread, old things, and acted like they were from a far country, and came and made a covenant, a treaty with Joshua. And so Saul at some point went against this and went out in a zeal and tried to push off and kill the Gibeonites off. God didn't forget the covenant, but Saul apparently did. So, I find some conjecture on, hey, when did he do this? But nothing in the scriptures telling us exactly when he did it. It's interesting to me that God's accepted the sacrifice and the terms. But notice here the bones are of Jonathan and Saul and others are collected and properly disposed of. But the Philistines just won't give up. Now, in 2 Samuel chapter 1, verse 19, I want you to look in your Bible and make sure it says the brother of Goliath. It's funny. I have an old NIV that just says that he killed Goliath, the Gittite. But if I look online, the NIV online has that changed. Now, I also find online that the ESV, the more reliable one, also says that, he killed Goliath. So, according to some versions out there, Goliath was resurrected at some point and brought back to battle so he could be killed by the Israelites again. No, it's the brother of Goliath. All right, verse 22, we have a song of David. This is pretty much the same as Psalm 18. So we'll probably get more in depth into it over there. But again, a song that doesn't rhyme in English. Maybe it rhymes in Hebrew. Good beat, hard to dance to. I give it a 7. David basically uses this chapter. He's looking over his life. He's seeing God's goodness all the way through it. And what we're finding here is we're getting into the last words of David. He's going to be, dying within the next few chapters, and the kingdom being passed on after one more rebellion. Chapter 23 is, talking about some of David's mighty men. I want to point to chapter 23 and verses 14 through 17. David said, hey, I'd like some of the water from Bethlehem. 3 warriors go through, break in, get it, and bring it back to David. And then David just simply pours it out. It took me a while to figure out why David did that, and the answer is leadership. If you were one of those 3 men that went to get the water and you brought it back to David, you risked your life for it, and all of a sudden David pours it out, what would you do? Would you go down and get more water? Would you risk your life in that manner again? And the answer is no. And that's exactly why David poured it out. Leadership. He didn't want people needlessly and foolishly risking their lives for his wants and desires. Chapter 24, why was this a sin? Here is what I think. All other king-driven censuses, numbering, were for the cause of battle and not just so you could have the pride of knowing how many people you rule over. So by the time they got back with a number, David had realized that he's done something wrong. But if you look here, Joab knew he was wrong in this. It's interesting. I think numbers do bring a little bit of pride sometimes. It isn't because of this verse, but I know what we ran on our first 3 church services back 17, 18 years ago. I don't know how many people we had in church last Sunday. I never count, never have, other than the first few. I don't know what our offerings are. I need to know general things, right? Never know who gives. I never know who doesn't give. I just don't know that stuff. I don't know how many people I have in church. You know what? I don't care. I'm pretty fond of the people who are there, no matter who's there. We have a pretty cool church. But sometimes those numbers are just about pride, and so we need to watch out for that. All right. Hey, looking forward to seeing you in church a little bit. Man, this is an important week in Christianity. All right. Looking forward to seeing you in a little bit. Have a great day.